Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. So here before you we have a 5916, a light tank. Yes, I played a light tank. I don't normally play light tanks, but I'm trying to go through in tanks that I have either not played in just a long, long time. Like I've probably played this thing in almost 8 years. I probably unlocked it. I only had 7 matches in it, so I imagine I unlocked it, played a few matches in it, and that was back in the day when you could be in a tier 6, but you could see all the way up to tier 10s because they had a 4-tier spread on light tanks. And, light tanks aren't my uh, forte. And then you mix that with being around, a bunch of tier 10s and you're low on the food chain. Yeah, I used to just avoid light tanks like the plague because I wasn't good enough in them at the time. Still not a whole lot better in light tanks, but a little bit better. And so I just never really played them. And so I'm going through and finding ones that I either haven't, like this one I haven't played in forever, or my stats are kind of semi-crappy, and I'm trying to get the stats in some of those tanks up a little bit. But anyways, so besides that, let's go ahead and do a review of this little guy. And obviously it is a light tank. It is a tier 6. You can see up to tier 8s. The gun on this, if you're top tier, pretty good. If you're bottom tier, you are going to struggle even with premium rounds. It's got a 76 millimeter. Your standard penetration is 138 for your standard round, 180 for your premium, and 38 for your HE. I wouldn't waste HE shells on anything unless you've got something with absolutely no armor at all. And shoot it in the butt still, because 38 penetration really is not that good. You only do 115 average damage with your premium and your standard, and 165 with your HE. Average damage per minute, and this is my or the kind of the stock setup is 1816. Dispersion is 0.4. Aim time is 2 seconds. So even the standard stock settings for this gun really aren't bad. It's 15.8 rounds a minute. So you can spit some rounds down range, and the more lead you're getting down range, this is. I wish it did have a little more ammo because even the match you're going to watch, I used all my standard and started dipping into the premium. And I actually think I shot maybe 5 premium shells. Because if you got it set up like mine, one crew skill, so it's not like I've got 10 crew skills on them or anything. And so you can see this. My rate of fire is 17.59 rounds a minute. My reload is 3.41 seconds. So you can see it spits them down range pretty quick. Gun traverse speed is 53.47. Phenomenal. I also will go over how I got it set up. Traverse speed of the tank, the hull is 60.15. Phenomenal. Very maneuverable. You can get out of tight situations between its speed and maneuverability real quick if need be. Gun depression is not very good at -5, plus 20. I've got my aim time to 1.63 seconds. Awesome. Dispersion at 100 meters is 0.36. Doable, but it can bite you in the butt too. My average damage per minute on my setup is 2,023. You only get 600 hit points, obviously because you're a light tank, so you really don't want to take damage if you can help it at the beginning. Try and save your hit points to, go around and clean house at the end, or if you need to make like a super aggressive move to help a team member out, because 600 hit points, tier 8s, 2 shots and you're dead. So, in the match you're going to watch, I only had I think 23 hit points left when I was done, because you rarely will bounce around in this because we'll go over that real quick. Your hull armor is pretty non-existent. On your hull, you have 30 in the front, 45 in the front on the turret. It's a nice looking little tank. Your hull armor on the side is 20 and 30 on the turret on the side. And on the rear, your hull is 20 and your turret is 20. So you can see basically armor is just not happening. Look at that. Must be the horn. They got horns on the Battleship game there, World of Warships. I don't know why they don't have them on the tanks. That'd be kind of cool if they did. Somebody gets in your wake and, hit like on World Warships, you hit N, and it just, I mean, that'd be pretty cool if they did it for tanks, so that, you know, somebody's getting in your way, you can beep your horn and be like, hey, you know, back the fuck up, or move out of my way, you know, versus bumping into them, because then it just pisses them off, and they're like, oh, so you want to push me around? You know, at least if you beep your horn, they might be like, you know, turn around and look, go, oh shit, sorry about that, you know, back up. You bump them, they automatically think, oh, the guy's being attacked, time to shoot him. Your weight is 16.4 tons. Don't ram into anything. I mean, unless it literally does not have any armor. I'm talking about something that's just literally paper armor, or you're going to do more damage to yourself than you will the enemy, and you don't have the hit points to spare. Engine power is 450 horsepower. Specific power to weight is 27.44. Pretty darn good. Top speed forward is 60 and reverse is 23. No clue that was, so I'm not answering. Concealment is 20.39. And your view range is 435 and your signal range is 835. I got a bunch of these gizmos here, these for the crew, these directives, and I wanted to see, do they actually really do anything? And so if you look at my concealment, what do we want to do? Is it concealment I want to do? Let's see, I've got a bunch of these things. I thought I had... Yeah, we'll do concealment. So my concealment is 20.39. And look at this concealment when you use one of these little guys. Bumps it up to 33.5. That's like, holy crap. You can get them in those little gifty things now. Oh, where is that? This thing right here. You can get them in these. Takes a lot of matches. I thought it'd be like every 3 or 4 matches you'd get, you know, crack a lock and get a gift, but it's not. No. Oh, the match that I just had, the WN8 for that match was 6,875. So you can do, you know, really raise your WN8 up if you have a good match in this thing. I was actually pretty impressed on how well it handled and stuff. For a light tank, which I don't normally play light tanks. It's not as fast as your wheeled vehicles, but it's got more armor than a light vehicle at least, which today in World of Tanks, armor doesn't even matter. You know, somebody shoots you once and bounces, they just press number 2 and they go through you wherever they want to. But anyways, if you want to hold on for a minute, I will have some gameplay for you and then some post-game stats. So if you want to hold on, I will be right back. Alrighty, so here we are in the 5916 on Live Oaks. Now my initial plan was to jump up here and get in this bush and try and light anybody that was going to be cruising across the field here. This thing's got hella good vision, so you know, the chances of me lighting up anything going across that field were really, really good. So, as soon as the timer's done here, we're going to shoot up there and see what we can light up. And so you guys can actually hear me because I keep forgetting to do this, and I am so sorry. Turn these down just real quick. I always forget to change it. Sorry about that, guys. Alright, so here we go. Got a nice load time on this. The only drawback is the penetration for the standard rounds kind of suck. So my first round I was going to load is going to be a premium, then I was going to standard, which I still have that habit of shooting that first round as premium. Now I'm heading up here thinking I'm going to be able to light some stuff. I got a lag spike. You can see my went way up. I'm like, oh shit. But then watch this tank destroyer. He comes up here, knocks over a bush. First thing you don't want to do, because what's that do? It lights you. Now watch him get melted. And I didn't want to be anywhere near that goofus because obviously he got himself lit by knocking the tree over. And then he decided to keep going forward a little bit and then back up. And so I'm thinking, okay, now that position's... And then I saw the Chinook get nailed. I'm like, yeah, I'm not going back up there. Something is spotting that bush. And if I go up there, I'm just going to get melted. So if that tank destroyer would not have come up there and knock the tree over and, run up there like an idiot, well, more than likely, things would have turned out a whole lot better for us. I probably would have been able to spot a whole bunch of stuff. So now I'm just kind of looking for any kind of targets I can get shots on coming across the bridge. And these are all tanks on the other side of the bridge, and I saw the KV-1S. So we come back up here. Now the KV-1S is blind as a bat, but I'm probably within his view range, or his render range, view range. So him not shooting, I was like, wow, how is he not spotting me? And I thought about it. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. I used that camo perk. And so now I'm going to try getting some shots off on the Crusader here. And got one off, and then he disappeared. And then we got a Hellcat. See if I can feather some shots in there on him. We hit him once. Miss. And somebody else takes him out again. Right before me, the KV-1S, same thing happened. The shot I was going to shoot to knock him out, and he got knocked out before. So basically, I'm going to go up here, and I see a P-43. Well, it looks like there's two of them. P-43 BIS. And one's just the P-43. Well, one of them got taken out, and I figured, well, there's only one medium over here. I did see that the Crusader was somewhere probably in there, and the T-34. But I figured I could probably go up here, do an auto lock, and just drive around him and circle strafe him to death. So we lock on him, take him out, and then I'm just kind of wiggling and wobbling because I got artillery, and I don't want to drive in a straight line because that's just going to give me away. That medium gets taken out, and I'm like, geez, old Pete's guys, save some stuff for me to shoot. And I come around the corner to the right here, and I'm like, alrighty, time to shoot and miss. But he did the same thing. We take him out. And then this is where I was looking, and they had a heavy, a medium, and I thought something else over there. So the T-37 fast-firing gun, Chaffee fast-firing gun, both of them do kind of lower damage, around 115, 130, if that. So I thought I can take a couple hits. I want to get those tanks gone, and I have a feeling this is the guy that was spotting us up here in the bushes up here, or over here. So my plan was to take out the T-37 and then work on, anything else. And so we lock in on him, and we bounce one from him, which I was really surprised. That one we didn't bounce. And he gets another shot in on me there, and he was shooting premium rounds. And we're getting just drilled. And I want that Matilda gun, so now he's gone. I'm down to, wait for it. I knew the girl's going to hit me. 24 hit points. So now we got to play a little more cautious. But this thing just spits out the rounds. I mean, we're up to 1,442 damage already. And we got 4 kills. Obviously, most of the kills I got was just basically one shots and they were dead. But hey, a kill's a kill. So their artillery gets lit up over here, and that's their only artillery. And it looks like everything else is pretty much in the city. So my best option with what I have left for hit points is to get on cap and start capping them. Best case scenario, we draw them back, and I get some more damage as they, work towards their cap, and then, this thing's got such good camo rating, it's going to take forever for them to get close enough to light me up. So more than likely, I could probably take them out before they even got close enough to light me up. And the M4 drives right where, we want to kind of keep our eyes out, because that's where they're probably going to come from. And their heavy just got knocked out, and the M4 is all that's left, and he got knocked out too. So yeah, it was a real good job on this team's part. Played really well. That's the one thing with this light tent, especially this one, very flexible. I mean, we went from that bush on, where is that bush? I'm trying to see. We'll do that. How's that? So I think that bush we went to is this one right here, or up in there somewhere. So we went from there, got that got ixnayed because of the tank destroyer that knocked the tree over and got himself lit and killed. So then we flexed up over to the railroad tracks, got shots at stuff on the railroad tracks, flexed over to this way, and we ended up all the way over here on the cap. You know, if need be, if let's say those the heavy and medium took out whatever we had in the city, I could have easily got back to our cap in time to get shots off with this because it's got great speed. The only drawback with it is the penetration for the standard round is only 138. I did get away with only shooting a couple premium rounds, and the gun depression kind of, -5 is not the best in the world. But all in all, it's a real good tank. Very fast firing. I wish it did a little more than 100 and was 115 average damage. Can't look while I'm paused. Well, anyways, if you guys want to hold on for a minute, I'll have some post-game stats for you, so I'll be right back. Alrighty, so here's the results of that match. What I'm doing is going through and finding tanks that I haven't played in just eons. And this is one of them, the 5916. As you can see, I've got a whopping 7 matches in it. Real crappy win rate. My stats weren't bad in it. It's just I haven't really played a lot of these tanks since, oh wow, it's been a long time. I mean, this tank I probably haven't touched since I got it unlocked and played it. I don't know. Shoot. Well, it's been 7, 8 years, so probably about 8 years ago, 7 years ago. When I first started playing the game, I was into it. I still am. I love the game, but I mean, I was also living in a house, so I would go to work, I would get off work, and I would play games till 2 o'clock in the morning, get 3 hours sleep, go to work, come home, play World of Tanks till, 3 o'clock in the morning, and that was just my normal, everyday thing. It's what I enjoy doing. On the weekends, if I didn't have my kids, Jesus, I'd get off work Friday, and I would stay up till 3, 4 in the morning, get a couple hours sleep, get back up. I mean, I was on tanks all the time, all the time. And, I mean, that's why I got up to 36,000 battles. Well, probably 34,000 of that was from when I was, living in a house. And when the weekends came that I had my kids, I obviously didn't play as much, not even close to as much. But my son started getting into World of Tanks, and I just didn't want to fork over the money to have an account for him, paying for premium tanks and stuff. So I let him, because I wasn't like super worried about my stats or anything like that at the time. And so I just let him run my account. Not, he would just get on and play a couple matches, and then he'd want to go play on the PlayStation 2, 3, or whatever we had at the time. And so he wasn't really into it too much. And then he started really kind of getting into it. And the first time I saw him take one of my tanks, it was the Moss, out into the middle of a field and just get annihilated and shot the living crap. And he did 300 damage. I thought, time to get him his own account. so I got him his own account. But a lot of these tanks I have not touched. And by the way, he's a wicked good player now. He's brought his stats up through the roof. Really good player. But, yeah, so a lot of these tanks, I mean, I haven't touched them in just years and years and years, and this is one of them. And, back then, I'm just like somebody that was starting out. I didn't know what the hell I was doing, and I sucked. And light tanks have never been my forte, but I'm going through and trying to get my stats up in some of the tanks, and this is one of them. The 5916, it's a pretty good tank, low average damage per shot. The penetration is not that good. If you're high on the food chain, you're going to do pretty good. If you're low on the food chain, because this will see up to tier 8s, right? Yeah. So if there's IS-3s and stuff, yeah, 138 is not going to penetrate an IS-3. In the front, probably even in the side. Maybe the rear. But the nice thing is the premium round does bump up to 180, I think. Yeah, 180 penetration. You only do 115 average damage, and your HE, yeah, that's a joke. 38 pen with 165 average damage. 38 pen, jeez, oh Pete, yeah, you'll hit stuff and probably do 15 damage. But anyway, so the result of this match, we ended up getting a Master Badge Class 2, a Fighter, Master Gunner, Duelist, Fire for effect, and a hand of God. Couldn't think of what it was. We hit the Hellcat one time for 111 and knocked out his track. T-37, we hit him 3 times for a total of 326, finished him off, bounced one of his rounds, and damage upon his spotting was 83. This thing's got a hell of a view range, too, if I remember right. Yeah, 435. I'll show you the getup that I have set up for this. KV-1S, I thought I was going to have some problems going through that. I think I shot a couple premium rounds, but for the most part, I shot, if I remember right, all standard rounds except for just a handful. KV-1S hit him 5 times for 604. Somebody else got the kill on him. I was kind of bummed because he was backing up. I was going to blind shot him, and all of a sudden I pulled the trigger and I saw him light up, and I didn't hear, "You got him!" So somebody else finished him off. But oh well. The Crusader there, we hit him 1 time for 47, finished him off. Until the Black Prince hit him 3 times for 331, finished him off, and knocked out his track. P-43 with him 1 time for 27, finished him off. And the T-34, damage upon a spotting to him was 68. Damage on the T-67, we hit him 1 time for 117. And knocked out his loader, and the Chaffee got hit for 39 upon a spotting. Really good eyes. This thing, that's the nice thing that I do really like about the way they did fix Matchmaker up was for the light tanks, because this thing was, let's see, it's a tier 6, so yeah, you could be seeing, tier 9s and 10s in this little guy. 138 pen. Yeah, try to go through an E100 anywhere with 138 pen. Ain't gonna happen. Just is not gonna happen. So I do like, that you only see 2 tiers higher. There's not that 4-tier spread with your light tanks like there used to be. And that's a big reason that I really kind of suck at light tanks, because I never really played them. Because I wasn't good enough to play a light tank back then. And then if you did play a light tank, I'd say about 98% of the time you're bottom tier in a tier 10 match in a tier 6 or 7 light tank, and you would just get freaking decimated. And I wasn't good enough in light tanks to, even want to try it. And I did a few times, and obviously, this is what happens, 43% win rate. Well, that's your team, not just you. That's one thing I wish Wargaming would do, is take out the win percentage or win rate, because you're getting rated on how 14 other people did, for all your matches. Not just how you did. Because you can see when I play this, blue stats. I do good in it. But team-wise, I can't, pay for a win. So I wish they'd take the win rate out, because a lot of people, they rag on, and my win rate isn't bad. It's like almost 52%. I think it is. Let's take a peek. Yeah, 51.47. It's not, way up there, but it's not way down there either. And it took, with the amount of matches I have, it takes for damn ever to get your win rate up. But, yeah, I wish they would take the win rate out. Just leave your WN8, your average damage, the things that you do, that it shows how you perform in that tank or in your tanks in general when you are out in a battle. Not how 14 other people suck that are window lickers and, they got to wear a little pink helmet when they play. Because that's usually, it's just what happens. And then, people, "Oh, look, you only got a 30% win rate," to somebody. And they're like, "Yeah, I also got 1,000 battles and I keep getting butt wipes for teammates," So it's just, when I see win rates, I just take them with a grain of salt. Because really, you can't blame for somebody for how 14 other people do in his 1,000 matches or 200 matches or whatever. So, but yeah, so I'm going through and just trying to get my stats up on some of these little guys that I haven't played, and most of them are lower tier. I also want to finish getting some awards that are, you have to kill like every tank in a certain tech tree, and most of them that I don't have are because you got to kill a tier 1 or tier 2. Some of them are tier 3s, but, tier 4 and up, I've got all of them killed. It's just I got to go in and play, a tier 1 or a tier 2 to get a kill on those. So I don't like playing low tiers, because, boy, you could think you're winning 1 second, and 2 seconds later, you're getting rolled. They just, But yeah, at first on this match, I was actually going to go to a spot I know light tanks go. With the view range I had, I thought I'm going to light up the whole team as they try and cut across that field going into the city. And then a tank destroyer decided he wanted to, and he rammed up in there and knocked a tree. I think he knocked a tree over, and then he got just melted within seconds. And here I'm sitting there, before he even got there, and if he would have left it the way it was and not come up there, I probably could have spotted a bunch of people going into the city. But he got up there, and I thought, I don't know, maybe he thought he just was going to save the day or something, and he ended up getting knocked out within, he didn't even get a shot off. I mean, seconds he was knocked out. So once that happened, I wasn't going to stick around because obviously something was close enough to spot him there. So I kind of hauled tail and went and helped him over by the railroad tracks and worked out for the best. Light tanks are real situational. You just got to know where to go and when to go, with it. That's what I'm learning when I play my light tanks. With a heavy tank, they are kind of situational, but they're more forgiving. A light tank, you make a mistake, you're screwed. I think at the end, I only had like 28 some hit points, and there was one point where I was shooting at the enemy T-37, and I think they're T-67, and maybe they're Chaffee or something, and I wasn't really moving around. I was just kind of sitting there. It's because I knew for just looking at what the team had left, there wasn't many tanks left. I wanted to get as much damage as I could, and if I'm driving around, where they were positioned, I would have been trying to get shots on the move, and it just wouldn't have worked out. So I figured I'd just try, and I've got such a fast fire rate that I could just knock them out before they'd hit me a second time. The only problem is I forgot this only does 115 damage, average damage per hit. So, like single shots where I hit this guy, this Hellcat, for 111, a little bit of a low roll. T-67, 117, a little bit of a, that was what I say, it was 100 and, what was it? Average damage, 115. So yeah, that one was 117, so that was nice. But most of them either they're almost dead or I shot them several times. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this match. If you did, please click the like button down below and subscribe to the channel. You guys take it easy, be safe, and I will see you on the battlefield.